Today, let us look at this thing called suppression. What is suppression? Now, life is a matter of expression. Expression in its first stage is just that a baby has taken birth. So now expression has happened at a very, very basic level. From this point onwards, that baby, as it naturally grows up, it will begin to express itself in various ways. It may appear as if it's making a lot of noise, it may appear as if it's doing this, it's doing that, whatever it is. It will do some behaviors, and as parents or as teachers or as family or anybody else, all the other caregivers for that little child, they will begin training that child into a form of obedience. Now, this kind of training is necessary because that baby has to grow up in a civilized way. So there are things that, this little girl or little boy, as he or she grows up, they have got to learn some things. Some behaviors have to be taught. All those things are there and they absolutely need to be done. But in the act of training that little child, often what happens is that the child receives a very negative kind of message. The message is that you should not express yourself. Now, you should not express yourself is a very basic thing. When it comes to some behaviors, when it comes to some kinds of speech, when it comes to some kinds of actions, it absolutely is necessary. So those things have got to be controlled. But very soon, unknowingly, because that little child is going to, model, it'll have some of the parents or the other people as models. And so slowly, it will start suppressing some things. For instance, if it is often beaten for some kinds of behaviors, either it will go to the other end and it will turn violent and it will turn rebellious. It will do all kinds of things. That is the beginning of what in an earlier video I spoke of as mindset C. The seeds are here. Mindset C or mindset A does not develop suddenly. I have spoken of these two mindsets in an earlier video. You could look for them. But this is how the child which is being trained, either it will go into a rebellious mode because of the violent ways in which it is being, taught and controlled and things. And this will be the seed time of the mindset which we call mindset C. Now the child will grow rebellious. It will learn to it will express things that it need not express. It will express those because you have controlled it and told it, don't do this, it'll do it. And it will suppress the things that it needs to express. This is the sad part. There are talents. There is a lot of potential in every child. The child will suppress those things. and it will express those things that you tell it not to. Don't express this because of the way in which you are doing it. It's not what you are saying, it is the way you are saying, the way you are controlling. It is not about the control, it is about the way in which that control is being done, that training is being given to the child. So that child will turn rebellious, and this will be the earliest stages of that mindset C, and rebellion will start beginning from a refusal to study, a refusal to eat all those things that it's being told, these are healthy for you, these are good for you, have this, do that, it'll not do. So this is a kind of result which follows because of the way in which that training is being enforced. Or it is the other extreme, where the child doesn't become rebellious, but the child becomes subdued, the child becomes very obedient, the child learns not to make itself heard, or too much. It will always remain within a certain boundary, and it too will suppress all those things, those qualities, those talents, those abilities, all the potential. It will slowly start to suppress. It will suppress all its natural things, and it will also suppress its abilities. So now you have two models. You have one model of a child which has turned rebellious, and the parents are no longer able to control that child. And you have another model of a child which is very peaceful, very obedient, very everything that you want. So it's a very easy child to deal with. This is a difficult child. We later on we put labels of, this is a problem child. But we forget that we are responsible for creating that problem child. It was only a child. And the training that we gave that child was absolutely necessary. But the feeling place from which we gave that training was a place of great frustration and irritation within ourselves. So, as parents and caregivers, if we carry frustrations, we have a lot of unresolved issues within us, things that we have not looked into, things that we are still not able to deal with. Our frustration shows up and we bring it out on that child. What we are doing is not wrong, but the way in which we are doing somehow is not healthy for that child. So now we are responsible for that mindset C originating in this child. Or it may happen in another way, where that other child also receives whatever kind of treatment. It is not about, you are being violent with this child, so that child reacts in some ways. But you can be controlling in a different kind of way. The training is a must. But in the name of training, if natural abilities and natural things, everything is a don't. Everything that could contribute to healthy growth, there is always a don't attached to that. Now that child is growing up. Now this is the seed time for mindset A. There will be obedience. There will be all kinds of right behaviors, everything. But in the long run, that child will train itself to put itself in the back seat and always remain there, and some or the other external situation will keep cropping up where those things, will outwardly show. So now a lot of potential will remain locked within this child. And now what happens? We have, let's say, the mindset C. Mindset C is on the rebellious side. And mindset C is basically an angry mindset. Anger up and all the other right things just below that anger. And in that mindset A, the right behaviors are up, but if you look underneath all that, there is a lot of anger stored in. See, all these things do not apply to everybody, and it is not as if there are only three mindsets, A, B, and C. But when I talk of mindset A or mindset C, I am only talking about two kinds of people. I'm not saying that everyone in the world is either in this box or in that box. That's not what I'm trying to say. But because we are talking of people who appear to have some or the other problem in life and it's an ongoing thing, so such people, because so many people approach me with such situations, that is the reason that I have been able to group them under this mindset or that mindset. But it is not true that each and every human being falls into one of these two mindsets. That's not true. Now, if we look at mindset C, what they might turn out to be later on in life is one thing, one kind of result. And if we look at mindset A, then the kind of results we'll get to see here, this is a different kind of result. But both these are results. And both these have happened because of suppression. Life is expression. When there is a suppression of that expression, it has been done in wrong ways. It's wrong parenting. So when there is a suppression of that expression, what happens is now these children will grow up, whether it is A or C, they'll grow up, they'll experience frustration in life. So expression, lack of expression, or whatever, however it is suppressed, suppression will lead to frustration, anger and frustration. And from frustration will come depression. So the person ends up feeling low but not knowing why he or she is feeling low. All they know is that, yes, I have everything in life. I have all the good things, but I am not happy. I don't know what is missing in my life, but something is certainly missing in my life. This they come to. Now, in these two mindsets, what has happened as a result of suppression is you have tried to train, and you have trained in ways that are not healthy for those children. You have presented models of parenting which are far from healthy. This is what we call a dysfunctional family. So in that dysfunctional family, the child gets to see whatever it gets to see, all kinds of, there could be all kinds of situations which contribute to what we call the dysfunctional family. There are adults who are too controlling. There's a lot of pressure. There are a lot of do's and don'ts. and there is a lot of expression of anger and violence. There could be an alcoholic background. There could be all kinds of things. There could be situations in which the father controls the mother to such a degree that every activity is under the surveillance of the father. So now, with these kinds of things, there is a lot of suppression that the child automatically will receive, because this is the environment. There could be violence, on the part of one parent towards another. These do not happen in every home. They may not even happen in, most homes, but they do happen in many homes. That is the point. So with all these situations, how that child actually receives these things. So when expression is suppressed, because of that suppression, there is frustration. I want to, but I cannot. I want to, but I should not. I want to, but I must not. These are things that are automatically taught. We teach ourselves to do those things. And the result is, because we know we have the potential, and unknowingly we are suppressing all that potential, the result is depression. Depression is not only those cases where a person feels like a patient, goes to a doctor and takes medicines to cure himself or to heal himself or to bring him back to some kind of life where he's able to at least enjoy a normal life. But depression begins with a mild feeling of, you know, all the time feeling low, not recognizing what is happening, only knowing that I'm not able to do those things that I would like to do. I'm not able to do those things that I would like to do. This is where it begins. And then when you keep on, suppressing yourself more and more and more, it spills over to other things. And before you know it, there is a large area of life where you begin to feel depressed. Now, outer situations can only match that strong feeling that you're carrying. That emotional part of you is weighed down by so much of these, unwanted feelings, that they result in unhealthy conditions outside. Either they show up, if they have been stored in for many, many, many years, let us say, they result in health conditions which become chronic. They result in chronic failures. So you keep investing in some business or some setup, and every time you face failure. Why are you facing that failure? Because of that suppression inside you. You're not allowed to express. You have never allowed yourself to express. So before that business of yours really grows, it has to go back into the box. It's time. The show is over. So now it has to go back into the box. You go and join a job somewhere, and before you know it, you are called back home. There is some situation at home and you have to come back, and so your game is over. Now that job is back in the box. So these are coming from a place of habitually suppressing yourself at the level of your feelings. This is happening at the level of feelings, and so we are not aware of it. We do not know that we have been doing it right from childhood, and we see the results in adulthood when we become responsible for our own lives, and we have got to do this and we have got to do that, and we are not able to do it. So when we are faced with these, constant low feelings within ourselves, you don't feel like doing anything. Every day, see, a human being is designed in a particular way. A human being is designed to get up every single morning feeling energetic, There should be that inner urge, that drive to get up and to do something, because you have something in mind. In an earlier video, we saw things related to roadblocks. So you can look for that video. And in that video, where we saw how roadblocks happen and why two people faced with similar kinds of blocks react in two different ways. One person will, plod on for some time, and sooner or later he will give up. And the other person will fight, and he will do whatever it takes, and he will somehow, surmount that situation. Now, these were two things that we saw. This first person who had that quitter's attitude is this kind of person. He has nothing to look forward to. He has no clear-cut aim. There is no goal. There is no strong desire. There is no aim. And so there is no energy. All the energy that is being received is getting directed towards holding that block, which we recognize as suppression, instead of that energy flowing towards constructive and productive things. It is going towards, no, I have to suppress myself. No, I must not. No, I must not. I should not. I ought not. I cannot. This is where all the energy is going. And this will, develop into all kinds of blocks in later life, which we will recognize as situations outside. These are things that we need to look at, things that we need to, recognize within ourselves if we are carrying things like this. And we have to learn to overcome these. And this is not something that can happen overnight. It is self-work. It takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, but it can certainly be achieved.